for smoking, for allowing the smell of burned tobacco to waft in the wind, but did not. It was hard for him to believe they would not come. He strained his eyes to search for the tiny torch beam that would show his trust had been well placed. He tried to shut out the murmurs of the men with him and listened for the squelch of boots among the collapsed corn. He saw nothing but the vivid brightness of the fires in the town, and heard only the complaints of those he had brought with him.
"Listen, old man, are you wanting us all dead? They aren't coming. They would have been here by now if they were."
24 days ago he had walked fast down that path. Then the Chetniks, the Yugoslav military, and Arkan's scum had been further back. Now they were closer and had snipers with night vision gear who watched the gaps where the crop had failed. Artillery and mortars were used at random, and it was only possible to cross the fields at night.
"Wait a little longer. They promised they'd come. He gave me his word."
24 days earlier, clutching a weighted briefcase, Zoran had negotiated the path through the corn and travelled with the hope and sacrifice of the village stuffed into the frayed leather case that had once held classroom notes and textbooks. Telephone lines were long cut, and the enemy listened routinely to the Motorola radios. He had left the village and gone through the lines and into the comparative safety of Vinkovci, and then taken a taxi to the embryo capital of his country. In Zagreb, a city of bright street lights, restaurants serving hot food, and bars where beer was drunk, he had met a nephew who worked in the fledgling Ministry of Defence. He had been told it was inconceivable that an arms shipment would be sent for his village alone, and not the town on the bend of the great river. Then his nephew had sat forward, eyes darting from side to side, checking they would not be overheard, and had murmured that reinforcements and resources would be directed to the front line nearer to the city. The price of a ceasefire on all sectors was the fall of the town and their part of eastern Slavonia. His nephew had slipped a piece of folded paper into his hand, saying that Zoran was in his prayers. When his nephew had gone, Zoran saw a kind of normality around him, but the people in the cafe had no comprehension of the lives of their fellow countrymen beyond Vinkovci, in the town and the villages. He opened the paper to find a name and a telephone number with an international code. He had gone to the telephone booth by the door to the toilets and dialed. His call was answered. He had lingered in the city for 2 days, unable to learn anything about the siege on the Danube. He had hated the place, had felt a stranger among his own. The bombardment of Dubrovnik had attracted international headlines, but not the struggle for his village, the others, and the town. He believed his nephew from the Ministry of Defence. They had been abandoned. He had met a man. He had placed an order, spelled it out, and had half expected a croak of derision. The answer, "No problem." Bolder, he had said when the order must be delivered, and to where. The response, "No problem." Last, he had unfastened the briefcase, shown the man its contents, and explained that this represented the total wealth of the village. The reply, "You have nothing to worry about, and that's a promise." He had watched the man go away down the street, past the big statue in the square, and towards a taxi rank. He had bent to get into the back seat, then looked back. When he saw that Zoran was still watching him, he had waved, then was lost in the traffic. Zoran had gone home on the bus to Vinkovci, on foot along the cornfield road to the village. That had been the last time the path was used in daylight. An hour after he had passed, a sniper had killed 2 men, walking wounded from the town, and had wounded a medical orderly who had volunteered to work in the town's hospital. In the command bunker, a concrete pit with a kerosene lamp, he had told them what was coming, in what quantity, and when. He had seen skepticism, doubt, disbelief, and had sought to suffocate it. He promised. He shook my hand.